Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is Rob with Deluks Gaming, and I would like to introduce you all to another one of my dirty little secrets. As some of you may know from way back when, I love tycoon games based on game development, and often you can find me playing these types of games when I am not working or making videos for you guys. Currently in early access and still under heavy development by Eggcode Games, Games Tycoon is yet another games development simulation / tycoon game that, although still in early access, it is quickly becoming my new all-time favorite within this genre. Honestly, I don't know why these types of games are so appealing to me, but I'm sure it has a lot to do with the fact that often I consider pursuing games development, and I think anybody that loves video games as much as we do often feels that way. Like, I want to be part of it. I want to build games that I want to play. And then, of course, getting into the industry, it sounds really exciting and glamorous, although it's a lot of hard work and probably filled with, perils and disappointment too, as well as successes. It's just like any other job. And I guess the more I think about it, the less I'd want to do it. But, playing a game that allows me to imagine that I'm doing it is really fun, and I really enjoyed the idea of the whole thing. So as far as I'm concerned, here is the evolution of the best in this genre so far. For me, we have Game Dev Story, then we have Game Dev Tycoon. Loved Game Dev Tycoon. I still go back and play it sometimes. And then we have this, Games Tycoon. And yes, I realize I did not include GameCorp DX or Software Inc. in that list, and I will explain why. Firstly, we have GameCorp DX. Although entertaining for one full playthrough, it is and can only be that. There is no challenge or surprise in playing it through again. Not to say that I didn't enjoy it, because I really did, but it isn't really a serious contender in the genre. Secondly, however, we have Software Inc., which could potentially rival Games Tycoon once the game starts to get some polish. Software Inc. has far more depth than my top 3 list combined. But I think for it to appeal to me as these other games do, Software Inc. needs a fresh coat of paint and a fun but pleasant soundtrack. You can absolutely expect a series on Software Inc. when those things happen, for sure. Anyway, boys and girls, let's play some Games Tycoon. I'm super stoked. I'm really pleased to be sharing this with you guys finally. I mean, to be honest with you, I just found this game relatively recently. I've only played maybe about 30 hours of it. I played, but those times that I played, like, I was hardcore right into it. So I'm really hoping that you enjoy this as much as I do, so that, I'm going to play it probably all the way through, at least in the parameters that I am picking, which are going to be pretty specific. I want to do this debt-free, 100% debt-free in the game. We are not going to be taking out any loans in the game. Now, if our money goes under, a little bit, whatever, because, we're waiting for something to pan out or whatever, that's fine. But we are not going to take out any loans. If we get to a point where we cannot survive without taking out loans, that'll be it for the series. So there's a real challenge to this, and on top of that, we're going to be playing on hard mode. Now, just like in real life, if you've got money, of course, it's easy to make money. But when you only start with a very small amount of money and we don't have any way to get more money, it's really tough, just kind of like real life. So anyway, we're going to call ourselves Robbie because, I don't know, I'm Rob, and I don't mind being called Robbie. And, of course, this is going to be Spiky Balls Co. in honor of our most recent game development company game that we were playing, GameCorp DX. And, if you're looking for GameCorp DX, this is not GameCorp DX at all. It is a completely different thing. See, yes, they're both based on game development, but this definitely has a lot more depth to it than that. And I've chosen a company logo. I figured a star because what is a star if not a ball with spikes on it? I know. Country. Here's our first tutorial-y thing. So, when you're choosing a country, consider what types of games that you'd like to start developing if you're going to develop games. Because you can do things other than develop games in this game. I know. In this game, you can actually build consoles. You can become a game engine company. You can become a production company that produces a publisher. Sorry, yeah, you can become a publisher. Yeah, there's all sorts of things you can do. But I generally pick Canada, and apparently us Canadians really like building games because we get a permanent 5% sales bonus every time we sell a building game. And if you pick China, for example, it would be RPGs. If you pick Japan, it would be fighting games. So actually there's motivation to pick a different country. So I don't know, if you wanted to build strategy games, pick France, because apparently they really like strategy games in France. So anyway, I'm Canadian, so I'm going to pick building games, although I don't think we're going to be a games development company. I know. You're like, what? You're not going to be a games development company in your games development game? I know. So we'll talk about that later. And of course, we're going to be male, but we could choose to be female, but I'm not going to do that. And our game settings. And of course, we could start off with a small office building, which is a big advantage in the game, actually, because you're really limited for space. You start off in a garage and you're really limited for space. So starting with a small office building is a big boost for your company, but I'm not going to do that because it seems a little cheaty. Random platform popularity. This is actually something that's become really relevant because now in the game, actually I think it was January 10th, because this is all early access and they're still adding stuff to this game, on January 10th they just made it so that you could build your own research and build your own console. So if you wanted to build like the brand new Game Station 5 or the Ninflendo, Ninflendo Me, whatever, you could do that. I know. You know what I'm saying. Anyway, unlock all features is basically as time goes on, things get open. Oh, sorry, I hit the microphone there. As time goes on, things get unlocked, as well as, of course, as you accomplish certain things, it opens up other things. I like to leave this locked. It kind of adds to that nice pacing of the game. And of course, we don't need a tutorial. Hell with the tutorial. All right, so let's go. I am the tutorial. Not to say that I know everything, but I know enough to be dangerous. Okay, so your character, unlike Game Corp DX, you're not in God mode. This is more like Game Dev Tycoon, where you actually are a character in the game and you start out in your garage. So you actually get the ability to choose your attributes as well as what you're especially good at, or will be especially good at. It's kind of funny because these technologies don't even exist in the game until later, but you get to be... You can pick them now, but whatever. So let's say I'm really good at making 32-bit sound, and my special genre is building games. If I was going to build games in this particular Games Tycoon type game, I would build a building game. Anyway, whatever. Okay, and now we get to pick our basic attributes. Now, of course, all of these move up over time, right? You get better at certain things. Work will is something that you generally want to start with lots of, and same with speed. Probably the two most, well, I would say speed is the most relevant of everything. You want a fairly high speed to start out with, because the faster you are, the faster you will learn everything else as well as be better at dealing with contracts and other things too as well. Work will is basically your ability to work without getting preoccupied with something else, like going to the bathroom or using a photocopier, I think. I think. Now, of course, it's good to pick a couple things that you're especially good at, like music and sound, because, you know, sound. Music, I mean, I'm good at 32-bit sound. Sure, it sounds good. And I'll pick programming, because I would think if you're going to start a game development company, I think programming would be kind of essential. And actually, I think I'll take that extra point of speed, because speed is that important. Okay, so away we go. Haha! Just like that. And of course, we are going to play on hard, and like I said, it's going to be challenging because we don't have the money. So here's the thing. When you start on hard, first of all, you start with less money. You start with 50,000 bucks, which really is not a lot at all. Like, not even on the least. You're like, $50,000, I'm going to Mexico. No. You're not going to Mexico yet. You've got to, yeah, that's not going to last very long. So he wants to teach us stuff. We're going to ignore him and his crazy hairdo and his funny hand. Yeah, anyway. Okay, so yeah, to start out, as in hard, everything is more difficult. You start with less money, people will like your games less, you will sell less of everything, games get shut down sooner in the market, publishers don't last as long, all these things, it's all harder all around. Now, the reason I'm saying I don't want to take any debt, because it's very, very cheaty. So imagine going to the bank, and saying to the bank, I have $50,000 in the bank, give me $500,000. And they say, sure, no questions asked, I'll give you $500,000. If I have $500,000, I can make money with $500,000. I think anybody can with a head on their shoulders. With money, you can make money. Now, without money, it's really hard. So I think it's unrealistic that you can actually take out $500,000 right off the bat. I think they need to lower that, because it's way too easy. Yeah, you get $250,000 chunks. Anyway, so my goal in this game is not to take out any money. I think I can do this without taking out any money. Uh-oh, maybe not. Normally you start out with contracts, though. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. So normally you start out with a couple contracts available to you. Contracts are really the only thing preventing me from going absolutely bankrupt right at the beginning, unless we get lucky, like really lucky with our first game. But anyway, even then, I don't know, because we still have to build a development office. We may go, this is the first time I've started and I haven't seen contracts available to us. I'll explain contracts in a second. So at the beginning, I like to build a 5x4 development office that gives us enough room to put potentially three desks in here and 3 potential employees. And that also gives us enough room to put, of course, the most important room in the entire building, of any building, the toilets. The toilets will go here as a 3.4 and we will, or a 3x4, sorry. And that gives us enough room to do a nice 4x4 research office. Sometimes I do a 5x4, but I think a 4x4 for this one, and enough room to do another office of something else over here. So yeah, we will start with a 5x4 development office, because that's really important to develop stuff, is to have a desk and a computer. I'll talk about this one in a second. So first of all, let's talk about that right now. So when you start in the garage, you start with a head office. So this is actually considered a head office room. This is all the features of a head office, where you can buy licenses, copy protection, publishing publishing offers. You can buy engines, dev kits. We'll talk about all of those as time goes on. But yeah, it's basically a $5,000 room that you get for free, I guess. You can't actually go in it. You can't use it in any other way other than just to look at it and, of course, use these features, right? So this room is where all the magic happens. Where the magic happens! And we develop stuff. So buying your first desk is a very important time in a man's life. This is where you decide how quickly you're going to do the things you need to do. Now, normally, if I was playing a medium game or a game where I could take out money, I would just buy a big desk, because a big desk gives you +5 speed, which is really, 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 really good. Especially if you want to keep your team small, you want really good desks. But because we have a seriously limited amount of money, we're going to go with the medium, which only gives us +3, but it's a really big, bulky desk. We'll just do a blue, because I like a blue desk. And because it's so big, we could only fit 2 of those in this room. So when we do need to add more people to this room, of course, we will do so by buying different desks. So anyway, there we go. We've got our development room all ready to go. And we may be up the creek already. Completely up the creek already, because we don't have any contracts. Normally, I've never started a game and not had contracts available. So contracts are basically these jobs that are handed out to you that you can do to make some quick cash. And if we don't have it, I don't know how we're going to do this, because generally game development, when you're just starting out, doesn't pay. Like, there's no money in it. So anyway, let's talk about game development. Actually, before we do that, let's talk about what's on the screen here. So unlocks, that is, things get unlocked over time or when you do things. For example, after you build your very first game, no matter whether it's good or bad, you get research opened up to you, which is really, really important. Or as time goes on, you get access to marketing. So these are unlocks. That's what these are. And of course, that also means things like there's different features they can add to games, which are also considered unlocks. Anyway, so this is, of course, the amount of money we have, the amount of fans we have. The more fans you have, the more you will sell of any product. This is the quality of the office. Quality of the office directly affects how well your workers work, as well as get better at working, I believe. And of course, this is the year, month, and week. And of course, week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4. Right? Makes sense? And this up here, this is really, really, really important. This shows what's in favor right now. So in other words, people are really excited about skill games and pirate games, not necessarily pirate skill games, because sometimes the trend, the genre and the theme don't really match. Like I've seen like everyday life arcade games. That would be like a Sims-like arcade game, which doesn't make any sense. Even a pirate skill game, I don't know if that really makes sense. But if you have either of those attached to a game, of course you'll get a bonus for having it, but not necessarily be a good game if it was a pirate skill game, because that doesn't really work together. Got me? And it means that this trend will be around for 96 weeks. So you can plan that. I don't know how they estimate that, but you get the idea. All right, so now at the bottom here, of course, we can save games, we can take out bank loans, we can actually buy new property, which we're not even going to look at right now. There's all sorts of juicy information on how you're doing, how other companies are doing, what engines are out there, publishers, developers, tons and tons of metrics. And I love this stuff, but we are not going near it today. Then we can hire staff, of course, look at the staff that we currently have. We can buy all sorts of furniture, even plants and trash cans and fans and you name it. There is really no limit to what you can buy for your office. None of which we need right now. So all we need is a desk and a room, toilet eventually, but not right now. And of course, here's where you build rooms. Okay, so let's get to work. Although I don't have any contracts, so this could be the fastest game ever. We may have to restart, but we'll try this anyway. So we're going to start by developing a game. Normally I would do contracts first, but we're going to try and develop a game first. So of course, our game name, well, let's see what it's always random what you start off with themes. So we have hospital, medieval, pirates, pets, and knights. And you always start off with 3 basic genres, which is skill games, arcade games, and puzzle games. So we've got to find a good match here. So, I don't know. Whoops, sorry, I keep clicking on the same thing. So, a topic. So what kind of skill game? So a pet skill game? No. A knight skill game? No. Pirates, medieval skill? Hospital skill? I don't think any of these really match skill games. How about arcade? So a hospital arcade, Knights arcade? Oh, maybe Knights arcade. I could see a Knights arcade game. So let's try and... I know that's not in favor right now, but trust me, I think we're better off picking something that might work. Let's see, Pirates. Yeah, there's nothing... Or medieval arcade might be okay too, but let's do Knights arcade. And honestly, we're not going to make any money here. I'm just hopefully just going to buy enough time to get some contracts to pop up. So we don't have any engines available to us. I don't think we can buy any at the beginning either, or develop any at the beginning, because we don't have research. So we're going to call this Knights... Whoops. Knights of Bankruptcy. Because this may be the quickest C. Is that spelled right? I think it's spelled right. Knights of Bankruptcy. Capital. Or, exclamation point. There we go. And we can't pick anything else here. We can't pick subgenres. We can't pick the game size. It's always the smallest right now. And it's a retail game. We could pick MMOs or free-to-plays later on, but we can't do that right now. So let's go ahead. And we can only pick one platform right now, which happens to be the personal computer, which occupies 55.6% of the market share right now. As time goes on, we can buy new dev kits to develop games on other systems like Atari, or in this I call it Qatari. You get the idea. And of course, here we go. We can... Theoretically, as time goes on, we can buy copy protection. We can look at fan letters around certain genres of games. We can look at our completed game reports around games once we get quality assurance. And we can also look at the previous concepts of our games and copy those concepts onto our current concept to match it. And all of that will make more sense later on. At the beginning here, so we're building a night arcade game. What do you think would be more important? Probably gameplay, because it's an arcade game. Probably a little bit more story than game length. Atmosphere, functions, I don't know. Game depth, beginner friendly maybe? A little more casual because it's an arcade game? I don't know. Again, at the beginning, it's complete, it's your best guess. As time goes on, you start to get game reports and stuff developed. You'll get a better idea of where these need to sit for different genres. But at the beginning, there's a lot of guesswork. And I haven't played the game enough to know exactly where all of those fit. So it's, yeah, pretty much guesswork. So I think this game would be a little more gameplay involved. Technology, because I'm a sound guy, I don't want to mess with that. How about we reduce graphics and add to our gameplay? This is the amount of time spent on each area. So we'll be spending less time on graphics than we will on gameplay, because I think gameplay would be really important for this kind of game. And here we can choose what kind of language we're going to add to our game. Now, all of these things cost money. For example, to add the PC. So the basic development cost was $23,000. To add the PC, the game to the PC market, it's another $5,000. For a first game, I don't see where these expenses are coming from, but whatever. I mean, really, $5,000 to develop on PC? I don't know. And if I want to add a language, this I can actually see the cost to it. For example, if I wanted to add Russian as a language as opposed to just English, and if I wanted to make it an English-Russian game, it would cost an extra $5,000 to add that language. So for every one of these languages, it's $5,000. Often I add Russian just because, I don't know, it's fun to add Russian. I don't know. It's always fun to add a little Russian. But whatever. I'm not going to do that because we want to be as cheap as possible. As a matter of fact, we have the exact amount of money to produce this game, and then that's it. This might be the end of this one. I'll just restart, but because we didn't start with contracts. So weird. Okay, so, and these are the features you can add to your game. Now, as time goes on, you get access to engines, which will allow you to add more features. You can either buy your engines or make your engines. And in this particular playthrough, we're probably going to be making our own engines and selling it to other game companies. That's where we're going to make the most money. So Knights of Bankruptcy. And of course, if you have this selected on the enable disable AI of your employees, they will automatically find work and go to it. So let's hit go. Away we go. Now, as time goes on, it'll cost us money. Right now, it's saying that this character, if you look down on the bottom left of over here, it says it's costing us $0 for this character, but it's actually going to cost us about $3,000 per month, I think, for this character, for a main character. So after a month of development, we're actually going to be in the hole already. So you could technically say that's debt, but I consider debt actually taking money from the bank. So as we work on ASCII text support, support. Of course, these attributes are going up. So we've got gameplay, graphics, sound, and technology, as well as bugs. We are actually adding bugs to our game because that's part of game development. Now, we only had 2 features to add to our game, so we can only do so much damage here. There's only going to be so many bugs, and we're only going to be able to make it so good in terms of gameplay and graphics, etc. So, I mean, it is what it is. Your first game is usually really crappy, and unless you spend a lot of money by taking out loans and adding a whole bunch of people to your team and doing a whole bunch of stuff, it's usually really, really crappy. So that's why I'm saying, like, we're not going to make any money here. This is a ridiculous start. Terrible, because usually we have contracts. There we go. Knights of Bankruptcy is done. The work on the game has been completed. Yeah, looks like Defender. Remember Defender or Asteroids? You can release your game now. If you would like to continue working on the game, you can move the release date and bring it to market at a later time. Now that's important if you have quality assurance in your team and stuff, and you can get rid of those bugs and publish your own game and stuff. But right now we don't have any of that. We just publish our own game right now. Or we find a publisher to publish our game. So that star on top of gameplay, graphics, sound, and technology means that's the highest level we've reached in all of these in our lifetime in the company. And because this is our first game, it's the highest all around. But we also have 3 bugs to the game. The improvements here, so these are features that you can add later on to games with different departments. For example, game balance would be added by quality assurance, I believe, whereas, you know, motion capture would be added by a motion capture studio for both the animation video recordings. It gets really cool, but we don't have access to any of that right now, so none of that's there. And at the beginning, we can't even publish our game ourselves. We have to hire a company to publish it for us, because that's the law of the land when it comes to game design. You're at the mercy of publishers at the beginning. So we have some choices. We did pick an arcade game, and there is a publishing company that has a fan base of arcade games. The downside is it's going to cost us $5, whereas some of these guys, or this one guy, Tico, these are all different publishing companies. These guys charge us $4 per copy to publish their game, but they have a fan base of economic simulators. So I think we go with the company that has a fan base of arcade, because that's where we're going. Yeah, these guys have a fan base of first-person shooters. So yeah, we're definitely going with Chemco, I don't know. There we go. And now this is the experience gained for the company, not for the character Robbie. This is the company has gotten better at building night games, arcade games, and personal computer games. Now my character and myself has actually improved in skill by doing some of that work, and I'll show you that in a second. So the overview of how many games with the same genre or the same theme at the same time are available. So there are other games in the market already that are arcade games, but there are no other games in the market that are night games. So interesting. There we go. Our first game was completed. You can now build the research area, which is really important. There you can research new features, genres, and themes for your games. And let's see how well we did. Oh, not bad for our first game. Will we make money? I don't know, but 24% is pretty good. Usually I don't make 24% on my first game. So here's what it says. Graphics are below average. The graphics should be improved. The sound is below average. Hopefully they will do better next time. The controls are a disaster. The game is unplayable. A really bad game. Avoid at all costs. That ain't bad for a first game. I've seen way worse. I've seen ones that are like, this is the worst game ever, and we're probably going to see that in our career here. But anyway, so let's see. Okay, so away we go. So up here, it's going to show how well our games are selling week by week. So our first week, I paused it here. Our first week, we sold 362 copies. That's crazy for our first game. Knights of Bankruptcy. Wow. Yeah, but there's still no contracts available. How are we going to make money? Okay, so what we can do in the meantime is we can fix those bugs in our game post-release, which is really cool. So there's a couple ways we can do it. We can develop a patch right away, which will just attack those bugs. So for $375, we will kill those bugs right off the bat, which isn't a terrible idea. And of course, that directly affects your immediate sales. Or alternatively, we could develop a game update. You're allowed to develop up to 5 game updates per release. Now, with each of these updates, of course, you can remove bugs. So we will spend 20% of our time removing bugs, which will eliminate all 3 of those bugs. Perfect. That's great. Which is usually a more efficient way to do it within the screen, within the game update, as opposed to the patch, as long as you don't have a lot of bugs. If you've got a lot of bugs, you want to do that day 1 patch like as quickly as possible. But 3 bugs, I think we can tolerate taking a little bit more time. Now, you don't want to take too long developing a game update. This is actually really, really, really important. Pay attention here. If you're new to this game and you're interested in playing it, do not just go enable disable all for your first game, because in doing that, it's the most inefficient thing you can do ever for your first game. The reason being is because you have to pay attention to these percentages. First of all, the minimum, so basically you're trying to raise these amounts. So we've got 11 in gameplay, for example, or 3 in security. This is security and technology. So if we wanted to add a security update, for $196, we could add 2% to this total with a minimum value of 1. So if I click this, for $196, we're going to add 1 point to our security and technology. Now, if I click the 3%, it's still only going to add 1 because 3% of 3 is still, well, minimum value of 1. So for $420, we could do the exact same thing. Why would we do that? Why not just spend $196? Now, if we click on both, you're basically saying 5% of this number, which is still 1 because the minimum number is 1. So there's absolutely no reason to select both of those options. You're just wasting money. So get rid of new levels. We're just going to do the security update, which will give us 1 and give us 1 star to this update. Right? Are you with me? Okay. Well, of course, we're going to add the bug fix, which gives us another star to this update. And we're going to add new sounds. There's only one option for new sounds, which is this one. It's a little pricey, but you know, it's worth it. Sounds are important. I'm also a sound guy, so that gives us +2. 3% of 20. I don't know if that's 2, but whatever. You know, you get the idea. And same with game modes and new campaigns. If I click new campaigns, which for $364, it's 1, or game modes, it's 1. If I select them both, it's still 1, so I might as well just do game modes. But I'll do this much faster next time. I just want to be sure that you guys are with me. For those new guys just newly playing this game, really important. And same with new objects and new graphics. So those are both graphics options. If we pick new graphics, it's +2. If we pick new objects, it's +1. So we're going to pick new graphics. Best bang for the buck, $532 for 2 points. We're in there, and it's a 5-star update. Away we go. Now, another reason you wouldn't want to select everything is because it takes time to develop these updates. Way more time than a patch. And sometimes, and it happens all the time to me, and you'll hear me swear, well, you might not hear me swear because I try not to do that, is that, I'll let this go, and yeah, away it goes. So, a lot of times what happens is that you run out of time, so you'll be building an update for the game, and then the game goes off the market. Like, the publisher says you're not selling enough, and it just cancels it on the market. So yeah, you want your updates to build fairly quickly, and the more stuff you add to it, of course, the longer it takes. So here's my first beef with the game. And my message to the developer. Please make it so I can see my guy working. I hate this thing right in the middle. Why does this UI thing, which we can remove entirely, but why does the UI thing have to be right on top of the guy? Why can't there be, I'm just going to pause it here. Why can't there be something up here on the top left that says, you know, Development Room 1, working on Knights of Bankruptcy, and have that little meter here? I mean, why have all this beautiful, I mean, relatively beautiful graphical, rendering of this game company with this guy who's animated and everything if you can't even see him work? That's really frustrating. And one of the first things I noticed about this game, and my first and biggest complaint to this game, is this stupid UI is right on top of the guys that you want to see. So I don't know, just a personal preference thing. For those people that I really like watching the guys work. I don't know, it makes me happy, but if you can't see him, what's the point? So now you can actually see as our guy works, he is actually gaining abilities. So you'll notice his game design, programming, graphics, music, and sound, speed, and work will are going up. Office work does not go up unless you're doing something that's related to quote-unquote office work. Now, we'll talk about office work later. Oh, we finally have a contract. So we built we just finished building our first game update, and as you can see here, we're not making money yet, but we're not that far away. We've made like 10 grand. Now that update will directly affect how well our game is selling, and of course that update included a patch as well. So now you have to make a decision. Because this game's actually, for our first game, is doing okay, we could spend more money and develop another update. Like I said, you can develop up to 5 updates per game and do it in exactly the same way. Now, we don't have any more bugs to fix, so that's out of the way. We don't have to spend money on that. Definitely do another security update. Of course, there's no difference here. So we just do 1 there, and then we do our graphics, which gives us +2, do new more sounds, and do 2 more sounds, and new campaigns, new game modes. There we go. So there's the best optimum, but that costs $1,500, right? So sometimes you're fighting an uphill battle, especially with a low selling game. That's almost not worth your while to keep developing updates for it, but we might actually start to make money. That's probably the last update I'll do for this game, depending on how things go. Sometimes you'll notice I'm missing a lot of these messages that are popping up, but sometimes the company that's publishing the game for you will actually do their own marketing campaign for your game, because it's in their best interest to sell the most of it. And you'll see a big spike too as well, and that's when maybe you want to do another update or something. But yeah, in a low selling game like this, it's almost counterproductive to spend more money developing too many updates, because it won't take long. I think, oh, right. Let's turn this on. See, I want to be able to see this, but I also want to be able to see my guy. Oh, man. See, contracts are popping up. Thank God. Because, yeah, we might actually make our money back from this game. Maybe. We're getting close. You know, I may even do another game update. Maybe a quick one. Oh, see, there we go. Pause. The publisher has launched a marketing campaign for Knights of Bankruptcy. So at the same time as we finish that patch, so we're actually going to do another update. So yeah, once the game is built, it's not just done. So remember in Game Dev Tycoon, for those of you that played Game Dev Tycoon, like oh, see, new objects 342, new graphics. Now, if I did them together, +3, it's not worthwhile. We're better off to just do new objects +2, perfect, and it's cheaper. So yeah, awesome, yeah. And remember in Game Dev Tycoon, so after you finish building a game, it was done. It was over. Like there was no post-production or anything. I don't think so anyway. Yeah, once you build a game, it was done. And that was it. It was off in the market, and there was nothing you can do to control it at that point. Whereas in this, you have a bit of post-control. And it's a little bit more realistic because nowadays, especially nowadays, maybe see, look at, we've got a nice spike from the from the publisher doing a marketing campaign. Of course, we just did another update. We're actually probably going to make money on this game, even after spending the money to do those patches. Fantastic. Whew, what a relief. Oh, look at these contracts are building up, which is great. Contracts are basically our primary source of income. If you're trying to not take out loans, you need contracts. Even if you are taking out loans, why wouldn't you do contracts? You'll see them in a second. Very, very, very important. Yeah, I love this game. So much fun. So much fun. I hope you guys enjoyed as much as I do. Okay, so here is that moment in time where you get to pick, decide whether or not you're going to go to like E3 or CES or PAX, right? And open up a booth. The downside to this is we can't afford it. There's no way. $100,000 to show off a game. And what that'll do for us, of course, it will give us fans. And fans are basically like sales, instant sales. Like when you release a game, fans will buy a game. It's just that simple. So it's good, but we can't afford it. Without taking out a loan, and we're not taking out a loan, I refuse to do that. We're not going to do that. And I wouldn't do that for this game anyway, because, yeah, that's silly. Now, if we were presenting more than one game, it would cost us $1.75 million. And if we were presenting 3 games, it would cost us $3.5 million. Those might sound like a lot of money, but once you get going and you actually start making decent money, it's actually not that bad. Oh, Nuts of Bankruptcy. So that's it. The publisher decided to, because the sales figures for the game were getting worse, and that happens sooner when you're playing on hard mode. When you're playing on normal mode, it doesn't happen so quickly, but when you're playing on hard mode, it happens very fast. Therefore, they have taken the game off the market. So we did actually, even after doing those 3 patches or whatever it was, we still made 1,067, which means, I don't know, after expenses, we're $500 richer. Woohoo! Far better than where I thought we'd be. So let's actually make some money now. And what do we have to do to... Oh, see, we were working on that last patch and we didn't get it done in time. The game got pulled from the market too soon. So we should have done a little less work on that last one. Whatever, it doesn't matter. Okay, so now let's actually make some money. So the best way to make money at the beginning of the game is with contracts. Contracts, we'll just go over this really quickly. So this is a company that's offering the contract. The amount of work involved in finishing the contract is here. So if it's really high, it's going to take a long time to finish it unless you have a big team. Now, this is the amount of time they expect you to finish it in. So 11 weeks to finish this amount of workload. I think I can handle that on my own. And of course, you can make $30,000, but if you do not finish it in 11 weeks for whatever reason, you have to pay $13,000, and that's terrible. We can't afford to do that. We don't want to do that. Now, here's one I would never take, and I'm actually going to kill it right away. So our workload is, unless we had a bigger team, when we don't have a bigger team, and I'm not hiring somebody else right now because we can't afford it. So it's saying that this massive workload, we want it done in 4 weeks, and we'll pay you $34,000. There is no way one guy with the amount of skill that we've got right now could finish that, so we're just going to close that right now. So here's another one we could do, but we're going to start at the top. So yeah, reasonable. 11 weeks, we can finish that workload. For sure. Perfect. Let's do it. Let's do our first contract for Konami. So at the beginning, contracts are an excellent way to just generate some income so you can move on to do some bigger and better things. One of those things happens to be research. Because we finished our first game, that opened up research for us, like you saw earlier. So we're actually going to build our first research office. And like I said, I think we'll do 4x4 because that gives us the option to add another room later, a 4x4. Normally I would build my research office at least a 5x4, but I don't think we could fit anything in a 3x4 space. We're better off making our research room a little bit smaller. I think for now, I'm almost thinking we should have done the research room 5x4. And then in the development room, yeah, because I think we're gonna, because I want to do a game engine company. Whatever, we'll do 4x4. That'll be fine to start. We're gonna have to move eventually anyway. So research room's gonna cost $19,000. Super expensive, but really important. So we'll just wait until he's done this first contract because we really can't afford to do anything else. Generally, now for this one, I'm thinking we should put the big, nice desk in there, but I don't think we can afford it. I would love to. I just, even doing this one, I don't know. We'll speed this up so he just gets it done faster. So yeah, you can actually watch his attributes go up here. His work will, his speed, his music, sound, graphics, programming, and game design will all go up. You can watch it actually creep up. And of course, the faster you are, the faster those things will increase in speed. I'm pausing it after we finish everything because time is money. So now, that gave him a whole big chunk of change. And I think we'll just continue on to the next contract. We're going to do this one for $25,000. And hopefully after that, we'll have another contract to do because, you know, we got some money we need to spend on other things. So let's actually build some stuff in our research room. We just need a nice desk. I really want to put a really nice desk in there to start. I really want to do it, but it could be the end of the company. So it's always risky. Always risky. I think we can do it and still get away with it. So let's do it. We're going to do a wooden desk because in my mind, posh and high-end development comes with wooden mahogany. So let's put that down, and we could nicely fit 2 desks in here, but that's about it. But whatever. Okay, so the reason I want to put a really nice desk in there is because for a while at least, the only person that's going to be doing research is me. I'm doing everything right now because I am the whole company. We can't afford to hire anybody else. Not that I'm opposed to doing that, but we're just, I want to have about a $200,000 cushion before we start hiring people because every month they cost like $3,000 or whatever, right? So I think, or maybe it's every year. I don't know because we haven't. Because Robbie, like our character, will charge us eventually too. Maybe it's not every month. Maybe it's every 6 months. But anyway, we can't afford to hire anybody else right now. We just want to make a few bucks, do a little bit of research, and sell our first game engine. So let's talk about game engines. So in our head office, when you're building games, actually, let's look at this here first. We'll wait until he's done, and we'll pause it. There we go. When you're building a game, the only features you can add, okay, we'll just add some stuff here just so that it's there, whatever, and platform, whatever, and we'll go to features, there. So at the beginning of the game, you can only add 2 features to a game because you don't have an engine. A game engine would be something like, what do you call it? Unity. Unity is a game engine. Or Unreal, the Unreal Engine. Now, the advantage to using those engines is they have a lot of features already built into it, and it's basically plug and play. I mean, there's a lot more to it than that, of course, but the advantage to having these engines is you can add a lot of features without a lot of work. So often what happens is people will go and they'll buy Unity and then add a game to that. The downside to that is, of course, there's a cost to buying Unity, or in this case, Free Scabby, which is an engine that's available on the market right now. It would cost us $10,000, but give us access to PC speaker sound, these 2 are already there, but give us access to sprites without having to do the research for it. Another big downside to doing this, however, is that when we finish developing the game and we sell it on the market, they're going to take 20% of all of our profits. Now, keep in mind, that's all of our profits. That's not all of the income, not all of the revenue. That's only the profits. So if we're profiting on the game, they are also going to profit. If we do not profit on the game, they are not going to profit except for the $10,000. So it costs us $10,000 to not only buy the engine, but then another $10,000 to use the engine, plus then pay another 20% after the game is done. Now, I'm not opposed, and I've played lots of games where I didn't develop any engines. I just bought only engines that were provided by other NPC players. But playing on hard without taking out a loan, I don't see a lot of other options. I mean, you could try your best at developing games and making a few bucks, but the best way to make money aside from contracts at the beginning of the game is building engines. So we can't build an engine right away. That's blocked off. We have to do a little bit of research first. So let's research sprites. Why not? Yeah, sure. We're going to research sprites. There we go. Off you go. So we're back up to 42,000. It costs us $10,000 to research sprites. That's going to take a few minutes here. We'll just speed it up. Dun, dun, dun. Look at him go. I wish I could actually see him without having to remove that. They need to do something, like they either add it up here, put it on the wall, or, you know, something. But in front of the great animations that they built, it seems kind of silly. You know what I mean? Okay, so almost done that. We'll speed it up just a little bit, not so fast. There we go. We've searched our first new feature. Now you can develop your own engine. So let's do that. Let's develop a new engine. So we go develop new engine, and first of all, I always check to see what's available on the market. So this is all the engines that are available right now. So all that's available is Freescape, whatever. And it is a engine that provides sprites on top of the 2 regular ones that everybody gets. And it is designed to work specifically for skill games. Now, you could use this engine to develop a arcade game, but it's designed for skill games. So what we can do is we can, because that's the only one that's on the market, let's design an engine for arcade games. Develop a new engine. We're going to develop a new engine optimized for arcade games. And a lot of times what I do when I'm naming my engines, I name them after, of course, just something simple, after the name of the genre, and just add a big Z. Hold on. Whoops. Add a big Z. Whoops. No. Arcades. That way I can recognize when I can see who's actually using my engines. Trust me, it makes it a lot easier later. And of course it tells me we only have 2 features on it right now, just the 2 generic ones, but I also want to add sprites as well. And then we are going to be selling, you can choose not to sell your engine on the market. So in other words, if you develop a really awesome engine and you'd rather just build really awesome games with it, not let anybody else have access to that engine, of course you can do that. Of course you can. But we're not interested in developing games right now. I'm interested in selling engines, so we're going to do that. We're going to sell this for the 10,000, same as the other guy's selling for, and we're going to ask for that 20% profit sharing. Just like that. Done. And hopefully 3 feature game, so that's what this is, 3 feature engine. Hopefully we'll sell some of those. Now, do you always sell them? Like, is that a sure thing? Absolutely not. You are running the risk that no one will invest in your engine. It's much like Software Inc. and other games like that. I mean, you don't know. I mean, it's just, I mean, we're taking a educated guess because there is no other engines that offer arcade, that are built for arcade games. We're assuming that somebody's going to buy it. Oh, we should have done it for skill games. Oh no, he's got skill games covered. Yeah, no, never mind. Arcade games are the way to go right now. We could also do it for puzzle games too as well. So anyway, yeah, that's what we're doing. We're going to build some engines. Now, like I said, there is a chance that other game companies will not take interest in our engine at all, and we will not make any money, and that will be the end of the series. But I'm crossing my fingers that won't be the case. So this is the Game Awards. Of course, we aren't on here. Our one game didn't get on here, but yeah, you can win soundtrack, graphics, Studio of the Year, and Game of the Year. None of which we won. And I think when you win things, you get fans. I think every time you win something, you get 5,000 fans. I think that's it, though. I'm not sure. And I'm not keeping track of these messages that are popping up. I'm sure they're popping up all the time. Maybe even saying relevant stuff. But while I'm talking, I don't care. So there we go. We're almost done our engine. Let's just speed it up a little bit here, or a lot. I normally play this slow speed all the time, so I apologize if I end up doing that, because some things don't need to be slow speed. I mean, really, what else are we waiting for? We have one team. We have one guy doing stuff. There we go. We built our first engine, and while we're waiting for our next task, let's work on this contract. We'll make 34,000 bucks. We need that money desperately. We're down to 23,000. It costs us 20,000. Oh, pause. IDI Software has bought into our engine. They've paid the $10,000 to work on a game, which means at some point they're going to release a game. We're going to get 20% profit sharing just off the bat. So we kind of lucked out there. We made that 10,000 bucks right away. But yeah, if they do really well, we do really well, right? So it's a different way to go about game development. You're kind of rooting for the enemy in a sense. Although you don't really see other game development companies as the enemy then. You're like, oh yeah, because you want their business. You want them to do really well because you'll make more money. Oh, big yawn. I have not built the most important room in the building yet because, and I mean toilets, because I don't want him to actually have to go to the toilet yet because it actually takes up time. Eventually they tell you that they will not work hard until you actually build facilities, but we haven't got to that point. So let's get back and do some more research here. Let's do research. Oh, PC speaker music, because we're a music guy. Let's do that. Yeah, so that should, now of course your research, the pace at which you research is directly affected by your attributes as well. So in other words, because we're working on music, because we have a little bit more experience in music and sound, it should be a little bit better. It might be more of a general thing though, like your research is based on an average of all of your attributes, whereas with certain things in game development, it moves faster, and I don't know, whatever. But yeah, so it's the same thing. It moves up depending on your skill in general. So let's just speed that up. Whee! I hope you guys like this game. I love it so much. I know I haven't played this that much, but I played enough to know that it is definitely on. It's right up there. It's better than Game Dev Tycoon in my opinion. There we go. So IDI. Oh, this is a different guy. EA, Electric Artists. They must have taken the game out too, so, or the engine as well. So this game, based on your engine, developers sent you a billing document for profit sharing. So EA. So this is why I named the engine in the way that I do, so I know exactly what engine they use. We could have called it Super Awesome Crazy Engine #1, but then I wouldn't have known what engine that is. And you generally have an engine, if you're doing an engine company, you have an engine for different types of genres. So in this case, we know it's our arcades engine. Haha, kind of handy, eh? And of course, they made $212,000 on the game. Therefore, we got 20% of that, which is $42,000 plus a $10,000 for actually just using it, which means we made $52,000. And guess what? We're over $100,000 already. Isn't that amazing? So yeah, this is usually one of the best ways to build a fledgling company and not taking out any debt. And it has its own challenges. Don't get me wrong. Like, we could have lost right away. They're not having any contracts, but I think we're on our way. We're on our way. We're not going to participate in this. And we're almost done with PC speaker music. We'll wait until that's done, and then we'll work on one more feature. Yes, we will work on one more feature, and then we will add to the current feature, or the current engine that we have right now. We will add to it. We're going to add scrolling. And then we can actually raise the price that, raise the price of our engine too as well, because it's going to be so much better. Let's see if anybody else has added engines. Okay, so ArtSys has added their own engine, and it is substantially better than our arcade engine. Yeah, but they are charging a little bit more for it, but still, there's it's a 6-feature engine, and ours is a 3-feature engine. So theirs is way better. So we either need to upgrade our arcade to compete with them, or lower the price of our current engine and upgrade it, or do one for a different genre. So we'll probably do one for a different genre next. So yeah, you can see the race here, right? The race for the technology race, and this is why we're probably, once we reach about that 200,000 mark, I'm going to hire another person strictly just to do research, and whereas my guy's going to be developing engines and stuff, and then we'll add another guy, and we're going to build our office, and then we're going to buy more property, and we're going to become rich, wildly rich, and then we're going to buy an island. Sorry. Okay, so there's our another feature. So actually, you know what? Maybe we've got enough money. Let's do 4-color support, because can you imagine not having 4 colors? Oh man, I mean, we're in a world where we have millions and billions of, they're still buying our engine. Crazy. Even though our engine's not as good as, but their engine's a little bit more expensive. So maybe that's why, I don't know. So people are still buying our engine. We're still making money on our first engine. I love it. I absolutely love it. Yeah, totally different way to go with this game. Like, you can become a publishing company in this game. So you can not sell games at all. You cannot develop consoles at all. You cannot develop engines, but you could go and publish other people's games. You could just strictly do that if you want. There's so many avenues you can take with this game. I love it. So yeah, we're not in here. This contract, maybe we should do this. 19 weeks. Yeah, we'll totally do this contract. I'm just going to pause it here. I don't like handling my guy because it seems unrealistic, but I'm going to do it in this case because he wouldn't normally go back here to do this contract work. He would finish working on the research stuff, not realizing that there's a time limit on this contract. So we'll just do that. I want you to go back there. Do that stuff. There we go. Yeah, the contracts, I almost always do the contracts because it's just easy money. It's like 12 grand for nothing, like for a few seconds of work, right? Somebody else sold their game and they made $245,000 and we made 49,000 of that plus 10,000 to 59,000 for developing a really simple engine. So yeah, it's kind of an easy way to make money at the beginning. Trust me, it's way easier than game development. Oh, I guess we can go here. Yeah, there we go. Finish that course, 4-color. Third year. So now we can actually open up a marketing department, which is so not what we're going to be doing because, at least right now, because marketing costs a lot of money. And of course, we have nothing to market. What do we need to market? There's nothing to market. So we don't have any games. We don't have any consoles, nothing like that. Okay, another contract. Let's see. 8 weeks. Ooh, that's going to be tight. But we can make 40,000. I think we can do it. But we're going to manhandle our guy. Let me go. No. Ow. Let go. There we go. Sorry, dude. Can't help myself. Because besides that, he's actually got some +3s there. That's good. Another one. Yeah, so wow, we sold a lot right at the beginning because there was no other engines, but now there's a new one on the market. Although, yeah, the last guy, he bought it from us too as well. He probably didn't want to pay the extra 2% in profit sharing. Maybe he thought that was worthwhile. But anyway, yeah, 291,000. So we still made 68,000. Awesome. Look at this. We're at 200,000. You know what? I'm ready to hire our first guy. So yeah, hiring is a whole new game in itself. Interesting. Hideo Kojima! Are you kidding me? So I actually didn't know that these, I mean, I've seen some other guys, but I've never seen Hideo Kojima. So apparently we can hire Hideo Kojima. Of course we're going to hire Hideo Kojima. Let's just take a quick look at him. So yeah, he's a master at game design, a really good programmer. Yeah, so-so for graphics. Better than me at music and sound. He's not a great office worker, but what do I want him for office work? He's very fast and he's got high work will. So this is like winning the lottery, guys. Actually getting one of these guys right off the bat. I've seen them before, not Hideo Kojima, but I've seen these guys before. So yeah, that's awesome. Maybe we'll make like a Metal Gear game or something. That's so cool. I refuse to be Konami, by the way. So yeah, I'm not even going to look at these other guys. He's level 5. He's only at $1,500 more per whatever 6 month or whatever. So yeah, we're totally hiring him. Absolutely 100%. Woohoo! And he's probably going to do game development with me or engine development. But for now, he's going to do research because yeah, I mean, why not? He'll be super fast at it and we'll go for a save game. Right on. We're off on our way. And on that note, guys, oh, look at that. I saw +7. Wow, that is amazing. He's wicked awesome. Fantastic. Okay, on that note, guys, I'm going to call this an episode. I hope you enjoyed episode 1 of Games Tycoon. Super fun game, and eventually we will be the biggest company in the world. And we're going to aim for $1 billion, and if we go bankrupt, we go bankrupt. So I'm playing this hardcore, guys. So anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed it. See you next time.